Welcome to Yeshiva Daf. This is a recording of the shir that was given on Shabbos. We're holding by Metzia Daf Yud. Shir sponsor Nishmas Am Yaakov Shalom Le'Abbas Yitzchok. So we're starting from the Gemara about 10, 11 lines down on the Aleph. The Gemara says, Rav Nachman ve Rav Chizdo Dam Tavar. They both said, Hamagbiya Metzia leChaver lo yikon leChaver. Someone who picks a Metzia for his friend, he's not able to be makir to cause his friend to get it. My time. What's the reason? So when we talk about the Mishnah said, you have someone riding an animal, tells his friend, do me a favor, can you pick up the Metzia over there? The guy picks up the Metzia and says, this is for you. So in this case, is he kohen or not? Says the Gemara, you can't be kohen. In other words, Reuben is picking up for Shimon, he's not kohen. My time, I have a tevis the balachoy because shechav lachir. His type is a balachoy in a place where someone else owes money. Meaning, you have over here somebody, any other person in the street can pick up the item. If Reuben is picking up for Shimon, so he's not allowed Levi to pick it up. That's called Teifes Lebal Choyiv B'Mokoim Shechav Lacher. He's catching a loan when someone else is losing out for it. Teifes Lebal Choyiv B'Mokoim Shechav Lacher L'Kono. Someone who's Teifes Lebal Choyiv in places Chav Lacher, you're not going. Now, right away, two yards over here. Taisus tells us, brings a question. Taisus says that the Gemara in Metzia says, if a person picked up water from a bar, Reuben picks up the water to give it to Shimon. Question is, Lagabe Eruv, who's considered to be the owner of the water? Because the question is, how much can you carry the water? Depends who the owner is. Where that person can walk, that's where he can carry the water. So the Gemara there brings the machlekes of Rav Sheshis and Rav Nachman. Rav Sheshis says you go based on the one who picked up the water, drew the water. And Rav Nachman says, you pick it, you go based on the one the water was drawn for. So says Taisus, this seems to be a stira and Rav Nachman. Because it's the same Rav Nachman over here. Rav Nachman over here says you can kohen for somebody else. And then we're saying you are kohen for somebody else. You're picking up water for somebody else. So Taisus says two answers. Answer number one says Taisus, there's a difference between here and there. Here, Metzia, there's only one Metzia in the street. If you pick up for Reuben, if Reuben picks for Shimon, Levi is losing out. But there, we're talking about a bar of water, a pit full of water. Pit full of water, there's enough water for everybody. So therefore, it's not considered to be a tevis ba'achoy b'kol shechav lachir. That's answer number one of Taisus. Answer number two of Taisus is that there, in Echanami, not when Reuven drew the water for Shimon immediately belongs to Shimon. Only once he gives it to Shimon, so then it will go based on Shimon. Rav Nachman holds, when you pick it up, Reuben picks it up, it doesn't become Reuven's. He can't pick it up for Shimon. So it's basically Efker. It doesn't belong to anybody. When Reuben will give it to Shimon, then it belongs to Shimon, so you go based on Shimon. Rav Sheshet argues over there, he holds, no, you could be kohen. Why? Because you have a din, as we mentioned before, we're going to go into the Gemara over here as well. Because I can pick up for myself, I can pick for somebody else. So it goes based on you. If it goes based on you, so then it goes based on the Ragla Memale, because he has to go based on him. That's Rav Sheshis. But Rav Nachman, he's not kohen. Now, when we say when is that? Rashi says over here, if he did not send the shliach. Only if there's no shliach. But if he did do a shliach, it works. If you look at Rashi, like Rashi says, because the lender didn't make him a shliach. But if you make him a shliach, he could do it. Why? Rashi learns the shliach is the continuation of the person himself. If it's not a shliach, it can't be teifus. Here, the Metzia is not considered to be a shliach. The Pashup Pshat is he wasn't memanim. He just told him to do a favor, giving the Metzia. Taisus and all the other Rishonim argue in Rashi, and they hold the Tevis Achol B'Kol Shechav La'Cherim. Even if you pointed a shliach, it doesn't work. Say the Achronim, what's the difference between Rashi and Taisus? Rashi learns the problem with the Teifus, the one who was picking it up. Why are you picking up for Shimon, not for Levi? Why? So you have to say, I'm picking up for Shimon, not for Levi, because Shimon appointed me. If he didn't appoint you, why are you picking up for Shimon more than Levi? It's a din in the shliach. Taisus learns it's a din in the mishalech. The mishalech means Shimon Shimon can't ask Reuven to pick it up for him. Because Levi also wants someone to pick it up for him. So the Mishalech doesn't have power to give it to somebody else to do it. You want to go pick it up, you have to pick it up yourself. The same way you can pick up yourself, Levi can pick up yourself. You can't appoint somebody else to pick it up on your behalf. So this is very big machlokes yesodis in terms of Chum Shachav Lachim. Does it work with a shlichus or not? Says Rav asked the question of Nachman. Metzias poil lehatzmoi. If a poil, what's a poil? A worker. If he finds a metzia, he goes to himself. That's the owner tell the one who hired him said, I want you to with me a specific job. I want you to plow. I want you to do a specific job. So then if he does a metzia, that's not part of the job. But he told him, I want you to do for me any melacha. I'm hiring you for the day to be my helper. So the metzia belongs to the Baal Bais. Says the Gemara, so what you see, that someone can pick up a metzia for somebody else. Question of Nachman. Toys points out over here that Rav Le'el and Daf Ches seem to say it differently. Because Rav there said in Daf Ches and Aleph that Rav there is saying he's not going. So Toys want to say Rav really changed his mind. Rabbi here seems to say so anyway, so he's saying, so you can see you can appoint a worker. What pshat? Says the Gemara, shani poil de yodoi kiyad ba'albaisu. A poil is not a shliach. That's according to Tosis. Poil is considered to be mamish like the way that Chodim define it based on the Gemara, like a slave. He is the slave of Baal Bais. He's the continuation of Baal Bais, as the Gemara is going to explain in a moment. Poil could change his mind even in the middle of the day. So you see, he's not really a slave because he can stop. As long as he didn't change his mind, he's considered to be the hand of the Baal Bais. When he changes his mind, no way he can change his mind. There's a different reason. Shmuel says you could be a slave, don't be a slave for a slave. That's the reason you can't make a person be a worker with no conditions. So Tosis, therefore a person can hire himself. Because he has the right to get out of the work whenever he wants. He's not a habit, and that's mutter. Argues, so why in our Mishnah we're saying that the person is not kohen? He didn't tell him to pick it up for his behalf. She says, give me this item. So there we're saying that Reuven picked it up, didn't mean to give it to Shimon. Shimon says, once you pick it up, give it to me. But if he said pick it up on my behalf, and Echanami Reuven is kohen to Shimon. Now, what about Tefis L'Ba'achoy V'Kom Shachav L'Achim? And Tefis asks more than that. Tefis says that Rabbi Yochanan holds that Tefis L'Ba'achoy V'Kom Shachav L'Achim L'Kana. If you want to be Tefis L'Regel L'Ba'achoy, it's different. He does not kohen, so why is he kohen? Says Tefis because of a simple reason, as we saw in the previous Amud. He has a migoy over here. Migoy is zochel l'nafshei, zochel l'chavei. If he can zochel for himself, he can zochel for his friend. So according to Tosis, comes out, and this is what the poskim discuss, that whenever you have a migoy, you could be zochel l'achir. So let's say you have a Reuven owes, he's a borrower, and he borrowed money from Shimon, from Levi, and from Yehuda. Shimon is taking something from Reuven, not for himself, but for Levi. Can he do that? The answer is yes. The same way he can be credited for himself because he's a lender, can be credited on behalf of Levi if you hold this maker. But what happens if Shimon's loan is $100 and Levi's loan is $200 and he's koine at $200? Do we say he can be koine only the 100 because he has a migoy? Or once he's koine, he can koine the whole thing? That's a discussion in the poskim in the Shulchan Aruch. The Ramban argues. The Ramban says that the reason we're saying over here that it's not a problem of Tosis L'Ba'achoy is because this is not Tosis L'Ba'achoy. Similar to what we saw in Tosis. Tosis said when you have a lot of water, it's not Tosis L'Ba'achoy. The Ramban says a loan we're talking about that you have someone who lost money. You have a few lenders, one borrower. One catches the money for one lender, it's causing another lender to lose. Here by Metzia, nobody lost money. It's winning a lottery. So that's why you don't say over here that's Tufis the Baal Chaim, and that's why it works only here by Metzia. So the Mishnah. Rosh Metzia v'nofel aleh. He sees the Metzia and he jumps at it. Someone else comes and holds on to it. The one who holds on to the Zoiche. The guy who fell on it is not Zoiche. The one is going to explain. The name of Kohen Bardal, like an interesting name. 4 ames, Adam is Kohen in 4 ames. We found in the Eruvin, first you point out, in the Eruvin we find that a person is Kohen Shmisa for 4 ames. In the Pashtas, this has similarities to it. 4 ames is a Mocha King. My title to kill Rabbanah attacking. To last so here it's a Torah to call the Rabbanah by Kenyan. So you should not fight whatever is within 4 ames you're Kohen. Well, by him, we asks a question. Peyo. Abai says, Abai has a question from there. Omaravo, Monsieur Yaakov Idin is okay. Yaakov Idin brought a question from Nizik. So we're going to see the questions in a moment. What are we saying over here? The Arba Amish Adam, Koin Shlo B'chol Mokum. Meaning, if you have Arba Amis, you're able to coin everywhere you are. Now, Taisus asks over here, why in the Gabe Ginevo, when he brings the Gemara in Ksubas that says that Ganav was going from Echotza, going out. So then you say, you don't say that he's coining within Arba Amis. The Gemara asks her, how's he coining? So says Taisus, why don't we say that Arba Amis coins? Question of Taisus. There's the answers. Maybe you're born and we're not metakin in Gnev. The Achronim, the Bisaron, Miznaik, the question is like this. What is the reason that Arba Amis Shalom coins? The Pashup Shad, and that's what we're going to see throughout the Gemara on this Amud, and the next Amud, is because it's like a Chotzer. The same way Chotzer is coining, Arba Amis Shalom has a din of a Chotzer. Some Rishonim want to say it's Efker based in Efker, Rabbanah gave it to him. Rashi, if you look at Rashi says, according to Sloi, Im yesh svivoiso dvar Efker, ein acher rosh shayla tofsai. Rashi seems to say that the pshat is nobody else can go in there. Says the Beis Aaron, or Volkin, the Beis Aaron, he says, so Rashi learns that Rabbanah said nobody else can come in here. That's why he's crazy. Mimele, if someone else could come in there, he's not crazy. And that's what happens by a Ganav. A Ganav, the owner can come in there and take it. So he's crazy. So that's why here you don't say about according to Rashi, it's very that works very well. Taisus asks another question. Taisus says, Taisus asks, Legabe, someone who is, Taisus says later in the Amud, we'll just mention it right now. Taisus brings the question, let's assume you have 4 hours, you don't have 4 hours, let's assume 4 hours not clean. What about Oni Amiapech Becharo? When somebody is trying to acquire something, somebody else cannot take it. So this guy over here is coming to be carrying the item with the 4 amas. He's only an Abba Bechara. Even if he's Arba Amas in the Kohen store, he's busy with taking it. That's what he asks. So he says, only Abba Bechara is only if it's very easy to find another item. You want to buy a land. Why have to buy the land I want to buy? Go buy a different land. But here we're talking about Metzia. Metzia, there's only one Metzia. Then you don't say on Abba Bechara, even though he's busy with it, as long as that cleaning with a full kinyan is not clean, that's what you have to get 2 of the 4 amas. Okay, says the Gemara. So what's the question? You brought a question from Peyo. Not the means as Peyo, Vizor Kalashan. You know, a poor man comes and he takes a little bit of Peyo for himself because he's a honey, and he throws it on the rest of the Peyo. He wants to be cleaning the rest of the Peyo. In the book, he has nothing because he threw it away and he's not created this way. Novolole falls in it. Paris to Lisa, they put his clothing on it. Take it away from him. When you have something which was forgotten, that the anim can take. So talk about doing this anim, you're not coining it that way. If you hold the 4 amas of coin, Nigel Arba amas today, why didn't you say the 4 amas of coin the pay? So they walk by skin the loyomar akri. He didn't say I want it to be koine. So when we think about my obvious, what if he didn't say? You don't have to say. But what it said is koine. Says no, that's the reason. The reason is because the fact that he's doing is falling on it. That means he's saying, I don't want the 4 amos to be koine. If I don't want the 4 amos to be koine, so then the chirama is not koine. Rabbanan not going to make you koine if you're not koine. Says the Ran, that's only here because it's a king derabbanan. So then a person can say, I'm not interested. But a king deraisa, you can't say, I'm not interested. Answer Kiveger, what do you mean? King deraisa, you say you can't be koine? You can't force somebody to be koine if something he's not interested. Answer Kiveger, no. What the Ran means to say is, if a person does want to be koine, but he wants to be koine a different way. Here, he wants to be koine to pay him. But he doesn't want to be koine with arba amos. He wants to be koine by jumping on it. So then we say you can choose how you want to be koine. But deraisa, if you want to be koine, you can't choose how to be koine. Whatever method you have works. But if you don't want to be koine at all, then you're right. You can't force someone to be koine. This is more that we do with base. Rav Papa said, that's only in the world. Outside, you could be koine arba amos. But not in the field of Abayis. It's not his. Even though Torah says you can take peil. To walk in the field to take a peil. The Torah did not make it as chotzer. Posh Pshat sounds over here, that's the reason our Bava is koinus. Has a din of a chotzer. Metzia of Yaakov Be'edin Ezekiel. Yaakov Be'edin about question with Ezekiel from our mission. Ross and Metzia of Nofal. He sees Metzia and he falls in it. But someone else comes and picks up it. It holds on to it. The one who holds on to it is Zochabo. The Yom Arba Amos showed them koinus to B'chomok. 4 amos are working. Nikol Arba Amos a day. When you said Arba Amos a koine. Doesn't more same answer. He didn't say, I want this to be koine. So Gemara, we think Rabbanon, even if Rabbanon Mesakin established this works, Ki loyal my obvious, what if he didn't say? So the one came out the Nofal Alei, God died in the field, when he jumps up, shows he's interested to be koine with falling in it. He's not interested to be koine for Amos, and you can't force it. You koine it only in Simto, which is like a small alleyway. And there's not a lot of people over there. Many people, you're not koine. Similar to Chol Mokar Kol, it says Kol Mokar. Kol Mokar, let's see, Tzibit Shus Rabim, coming to add also the sides of Shus Rabim, that are also koine that way, but not in Shus Rabim itself. Okay. So that's the more we spoke about the idea of Arba Amos, when you apply the Arba Amos, when you don't. V'omar Yishlokim B'shum Abba Koyin Bardo. Shlokim Zanim Abba Koyin Bardo. Ktano ein lechotzer vein l'Arba Amos. She doesn't have a chotzer, and she doesn't have Arba Amos. The Gabi what? The Gabi Git. If a person wants to divorce a Ktano, so she's not able to acquire the get, not with the chotzer, not with Arba Amos. Yehu Shaviana Omar, yesh the chotzer, yesh the Arba Amos. Yes, they do it. Micah thinking, what's the machlokes? Ma so v'chatzer mishum yod yisraboy. One holds that a chotzer has a din of a yad. If she has a yad to be koine, she can get a get. So she also can get a chotzer. The other one says, no, chotzer has a din of a shliach. If you don't have a shlichus, chotzer nami leis, she doesn't have a chotzer either. So that's the reason, that's the machlokes. How do I look at a chotzer? A ktano does have a yad, but doesn't have a shlichus. So then when we come and do a chotzer, you want to tell me that there's somebody that holds that a chotzer works as a shlichus. So it says by a ganov, he stole it in his hand. By a shomer, you find the gnev in his hand. God goes roof. Chatzero is courtyard. The kartipa, which is similar to a courtyard, but it's like covered in some sides. You can be koine. The God is koine always. If you hold that chotzer, then have a shliach. You have a shliach ba'avero. The kaimel ain't shliach ba'avero. We hold there's no shliach ba'avero. So how can the chotzer be a shliach ba'avero? So says the Gemara, Answer, Marvino, when do we say that he can't be a shtir b'avero? Heka the shtir b'chiyuvo. Tavka the shtir is b'chiyuv, he himself is doing an avero. But by chotzer it's not by chiyuv, so then you do apply it to the mishalech. And here, right away, the first should point out, one second, what's the reason that we learn ain't shtir b'avero? Because Divi Rav, Divi Atam, and Divi Mishin, who do you listen to? The Akash Baruch Hu or the Talmud? Now, the Chayim already discusses this did in the Shliach or did in the Mishalech, right? So, meaning, is it Pshat is the Mishalech says, I never believe the Shliach will do what I'm doing? Or is it in the Shliach is not supposed to listen to the Mishalech? Yimar of Shat, but let's focus more on the Mishalech. If the Mishalech, the Pshat is the Mishalech, says, I don't believe the guy's going to listen to me. What's that happening in the Gemara regarding Chotzer? That the Chotzer have a problem with Shtichad Laver. Of course they don't have a problem with Shtichad Laver, because the Chotzer, the owner cannot say, I didn't know the Chotzer will do the Shlichus. So, your Kiveika points out from here, you see from here, that that's not the Svar of Shtichad Laver. Shtichad Laver, the Talmud Dim Rishonim, is a din in Shlichus, which means a Shliach, someone who's called Shliach, cannot be somebody who is violating Kosh Baruch Hu's decree. Kosh Baruch Hu gave the idea of shlichus. The Torah says one can be a shliach for somebody else. Gewaltig. But that's only as much as it's not divrei Talmud. It's not because the Mishalech, he doesn't know the shliach is going to do it. He says, shliach will never listen to me. That's not the pshat. The pshat is the Mishalech cannot make a shliach if he's violating Kosh Baruch Hu's decree. And that's what the Gemara says, Bechot should be the same thing. So the more that's only if the shliach is doing something wrong. If the shliach himself is not doing something wrong, so he say nechlam, we do it in shlichus. Says the Gemara, according to this, someone tells a woman and a slave, so can really go steal. There's no way to obligate a Yeshiva to learn Masechet Bava Kama. Yeshiva be awesome wrong. There's no chiyuvim with him because they don't know anything. So you want to tell me that someone who sends them will be chayav to be shter b'aver? We never found such a thing. It's not true. They're not allowed to steal. Right now they can't pay, but they're not allowed to steal. Very, very there. Nine is if she got divorced, if the slave got released, they do have to pay. So when you say shter b'aver, if the shliach is doing something wrong, you're the shliach is doing something wrong. When do we say shter b'aver? You have a choice to do or not to do. So then he's saying the shliach and the shliach is not relating to the shliach. Like we said before, the definition of shlichus is that this shliach cannot relate to the shliach if he has a choice not to do the right thing. Now, the chotzer the Baal Korche, but the chotzer that's you can not asking the chotzer any questions. You can put it there without asking. It connects to the shliach. What's the difference between these two answers? Kohen tells a Yisrael, go do Kiddushin for a divorced woman. The Yisrael is not doing an Aveira with a divorced woman. He's doing only Aveira for the Kohen. So then we go into a din of the Fnei Iver lifted Milchshel. You're causing a Milchshel to somebody else. The Fnei Iver lifted Milchshel doesn't always apply. If the Kohen can do it himself, there's no Fnei Iver lifted Milchshel. That's the zone the first should point out. But the Yisrael, but the Yisrael is not considered Bar Chiyuv because the Yisrael, even though Tosfos just says, even though he's over on the Fnei Iver L'Tich Shmir, it's true. But at the end of the day, the Yisrael is not doing an Aveiro. So if Yisrael is not doing an Aveiro, when he does, for him it's not an Aveiro. So that's not considered to be Bar Chiyuv. So if you hold the reason why we're saying ain't Shliach V'Aveiro, I mean, when there is Shliach V'Aveiro, if the shliach is not doing it for him, it's not an aveiro. So Yisrael can do kedushin for a gush or for a kohen. But if you hold, the problem is because he doesn't have will. Here he has will not to do it. Now Tosfos asks here, but even if the Yisrael does the kedushin, but the kohen, according to one of my is not over when he's doing the kedushin. Only when he does the beila. The kedushin itself is not a yisur. So Tosfos has two answers. After the one of Tosfos is, yeah, but once he does the Be'ila, retroactively he did something wrong in the Kedushin. So that's why the Yisrael is considered to be doing an Aveir for the Kohen. Second answer is, yeah, you're right. Maybe there's no Aveir over here right now the Kedushin. And because it leads to the Aveiro, the Shlichus, the Shlichus. What this is, the Nafkamini, yes, Shlichus, Chalim, Kedushin, Shlichus ain't Chalim, Kedushin. Kedushin are not Chal in that case. And this goes back to this idea. The Din Shlichus, Loi Ne'emar, Mokam Aveiro. So, one said, what does it mean, Mokam Aveiro? The Shtech is doing Aveiro? If for a Shtech is considered to be an Aveiro? Maybe not. That's a discussion. But if it's considered to be an Aveiro, the Kedushin will not be Chal. Says the Gemara now. So that was one example. Kohen with sending sword to a grusha. Man told a woman to go and shave the head of a cotton. Why say shave the head of a cotton? So the Rishonim Rashi into his point out here because a god will never agree to that. So it has to be that she's doing for a cotton. A isha doesn't have an issur to shave her or her own hair. So for her it's not an issur, it's not a chiyuv. So if you say the definition of Yeshiva Ba'aver is when the shliach for him it's something wrong to do, by Yeshiva you don't have the problem, even though it is wrong to do for a man. Says the Gemara. Says the Gemara. So for Yeshiva it's not accurate. For a man it is. Sorry, this is to explain. If you say it has to do with his will, so then shliach not chayav. Here she has a tzur not to do it. So therefore, the shliach is not chayav. Here maybe this works well with the sma that says the idea of Yeshiva Ba'aveiro is because the shliach says I never thought you'll do it. If he has the free will, I didn't know he's going to do it. Similar to that. But if you're saying pshat is that the shliach is not for him, it's not a isur. For them to be kaddish a gusho by Yisrael, or for Yisrael to do a kafel, the Mishaleach will be chayv. Says the Gemara, Mika mandon lachotz ulam yishvod Yisrael. You want to tell me a chotz is not yat? V'atani or brayso yodo, ein li ali yodo, gago chatzeru kakifu minayin. Regarding the fact that a get can be also in the chotzer. That's one of the cases. So you see that a get, where do you learn get from? From yodo. So clearly, the get, that chatzero and yodo, chatzero should be yodo yisrael. So the more lean get kulam will plea the chotzer should be yisrael. By get, you have to say why, because it works even by ketama, and we learn in the pasuk from yodo. Metzia. What about other kinyonim like Metzia? Maso one holds that vidav omdalef yelfinon Metzia miget. You learn Metzia from get. The same by get is because of yat, also by Metzia because of yat. Maso loyal fin Metzia miget. Only if Metzia miget, it could be by Metzia as the din of shlichus, while by get is the din of yat. If you by say by ketama kulam will plead the fin Metzia miget by ketama, that by her there is a get, and by her the get is the din yodo the chotzer. So by Metzia is the din yodo. V'achol bekotem the gemochis by kotem. Maso if you kotem mektano. Maso lo if you kotem mektano. You can say dafka by ketano. That by her there's a get. So the military made the chotzer for her as her own hand. But by a couple there's no get. So then the chotzer is din shlichus. By saying more ma'amachado le pli. Rashi explained ma'amachado shum lelokish omer le Metzia by Yucham ne'an get. And they're not arguing. Meaning they're both saying it's a din of yad. Now, it's either kotem mektano or it's Metzia in get. So regarding and they're not arguing, meaning the Gemara said, right, when we said, and Rabbi Yochanan said, yesh l'chotzer yesh l'arbamis. So the answer is, Rishokish is talking about Metzia is in shlichus. And Rabbi Yochanan is talking about regarding get. So when the Gemara came and said, they're arguing about Metzia, do you learn from get or no? No. Everybody agrees you don't learn Metzia from get. And they're not arguing. One is talking about Metzia, one is talking about get. That was the first shot of Rashi. And the second shot of Rashi is regarding Katan and Ketana. The same answer as before. The Ketano, her Chotzer is like a yad. And the Katan not. They both agree. Rishokish Rabbi Yochanan, they argue, they both agree to this concept. They're just saying, they're just talking about two different cases. We're talking about a Katan, we're talking about a Ketano. There's no machlekes between the Gemara trying to figure out what's the machlekes. One says it could be that Rabbi Yochanan and Rishokish are not really arguing. Stop over here, start from the Mishnah in the next half.